All right, Monday, April 11th, 2022 at 12:31. And I'm overwhelmed with too many things to do, like I usually am, and I'm thinking ahead about what I really want to do is have some kind of channel where I can talk to people and get their viewpoints and probably put on some good content that will keep people um, entertained and hopefully interested, and I can turn that into something. So this is practice, which is more difficult than it seems because unless you've been on camera or you're naturally prone to it, it's odd. So I'm trying not to come across as odd while I'm doing this and not be self conscious either because I did have the unfortunate circumstance to have and survive pancreatic cancer, which isn't unfortunate. I'm very lucky. But it, you know, definitely changes you both emotionally, well, and mentally and physically. But in the physical sense, I don't feel the same as I did, obviously, prior to getting that. And it comes with a lot of fatigue. And, well, I don't know. Everybody says, hey, you look great, but I don't think so all the time. But, and there's also the fact that I'm not 30 anymore. So, uh, one place that I think is logical to start without keeping the channel solely about that, because there's so much more that I feel I could share. But initially, probably I would like to see if I could help people who've gone through similar circumstances. And really, the way I'd like to do that is a call-in show. But that's going to take some time, as well as getting any type of uh, methodology here to actually make a YouTube channel and have it be somewhat professional. So obviously I've looked at some of the many of the videos online, and I know basically what I have to get, what I could do for the bare minimum, but it's also a lot of tech work that I'm not used to. The programs for editing seem fairly easy to use. I think I could learn that quickly and efficiently, but my computer's so outdated that I don't think I could get one up and running with what I have. So that's probably why a lot of these videos are going to start in this stage, and that's fine too. So what I'd really like to get to today is what people feel after you've had a, well, we'll say 99.9% terminal diagnosis. And I went through this, and there's never any sure way to know that it won't come back, but that's rather irrelevant because that could be said for anyone. Anyone could get sick anytime. I certainly did, came out of nowhere, and as well as unfortunate mishaps, accidents. People can just you never know how much time you have, but there's a certain nuance to people, and who've had this happen, and they'll understand what I'm saying here. Is when you've had it, you always worry about it. You can live your life to the best, to the fullest, which I attempt to do, and I think I do pretty well. But always in the back of your mind it's creeping around. And I just, what I do, and I think it's the only thing that works for me. I don't know what will work for anyone else, but I'd love to hear people's thoughts on it. Is I I stay. It's a combination of things. I stay extremely busy. I have never been anything but optimistic in the outcome of my illness, and it's a way you almost have to be. You have to train your mind to be. And that does not mean that I live in a fantasy world thinking that everybody who tries very hard and is positive survives, because they don't. But I do think it's essential. If I felt myself mentally and emotionally giving up, which you do at times, you immediately need to focus on anything but that, and do something you like. Do whatever you need to do. Go for a drive, call someone, get some busy work done. Anything, but do not sit there and dwell on that. It will drive you to insanity. And that's number one. That's an easy one. Just do it. Don't hesitate. Do it. Number two, I never ever thought really that I was going to die. And that may be almost something I'm usually dead set against, is fooling yourself. So I don't mean to have my words misinterpreted. I faced my mortality and death for many months, maybe over a year, that that it was felt that, we didn't know the outcome fairly well. And it changes you, no matter what anyone says. Even if they're not aware of it consciously, it changes you, and in a great way, really, because you could talk a lot of big talk, and I've heard a lot of people do this when they're very spiritual, or of any variety, whether it be religion or new age spirituality, and they live in the moment, they live in the day. Well, that's great, and I went through much of that myself years ago, and I found a lot of good and bad, but mostly good in the practice of yoga and meditation. But until you've actually felt, okay, wow, they just told me, get yourself ready for what you're going to leave behind in a will, it sets in, and then you really understand what everyone means when they say every single moment counts, and everyone around you counts. Everyone you care about, make sure you tell them. Make sure that you are there, and but for yourself as well. That was my biggest lesson learned over many years, which is a different topic for a different video. But take care of yourself, but don't be selfish. There's so much you can do for the people around you that doesn't take anything. It's a small thing. It could be an unexpected email to a friend who's really down, to just say, hey, just so you know, I am here. Or, you know, I gifts. I like to buy gifts for people, not on holidays, not on. So I'm not saying I don't buy them on their birthdays, especially my wife, or that would be a problem. But just buy it. Just get them something small, something that they would like, that they won't get themselves. Have it sent to their house, you know, so it's a surprise. Whatever. It doesn't take much to do that, and always just do that, because it's not for self gratification. It's just you do. I know when I've had that done for me, it was, you just you just really are grateful. And it's I did wander off my tangent here. I was on number 2, which is amazing. I remember that. But yeah, I guess it eludes me. I'm gonna have to admit. So I hit number 1 was keep busy, do something. Number 2 was more or less, yes, you must face the fact that you may die, and you may be dying sooner than you had hoped, and it's not something you can uh, go through in a day. It takes quite some time. Well, unless you run out of time, but quite some time to come to terms with it. And I am so glad that I had been in therapy about once a week for the last 8 years, but prior to getting cancer, about for 6 years or so. And I'm so glad that I was, because the strategies that my therapist, who, well, I won't say names on here because I guess I don't know what the etiquette is for that yet, but he just, it made a total difference. And again, here's another thing for another video, but a therapist, excuse me, makes a world of difference, a world of difference in what you are going to experience. So that's why, just really quickly, if you feel you need it, get it. Don't hesitate. If you don't like the first one, they don't take it personally. This is not something you have to worry about. If you don't click with them, go somewhere else. But don't go and just give up. Don't go and the first therapist you meet, wow, I just got a bad feeling about this person, then don't go with it. They don't mind. They're not there for excuse me, a competition of who's most popular. If you have a good therapist, they're gonna. In fact, they'd suggest someone else. You can just say, hey, I just feel like I need to go to someone else. Or if that's too much of a stressor, which a lot of people probably would think, hey, I don't want to say this, just don't go back. What's going to matter? Don't go back. These are the little things that I've learned, that so much that we worry about doesn't matter. Okay, don't call them. Whatever. If you really can't call and just say, hey, I can't make it, which you should. Don't get me wrong. You should keep your appointments, or let people know. But it's not going to be the end of the world. You are not the first person that didn't show up for a therapy session and just didn't want to do it. So try someone else. And you can't go 2 or 3 times for a lifetime of emotional, problems and issues that you've probably had some since you were a child. You have to give a commitment. You have to put in the work, as they say, and that's the work. So anyway, there's that. It's, again, that's a time for another video. But so to sum this up, so it doesn't get too long, I was diagnosed in 2020 with pancreatic cancer, and of course, when you hear that, that is one of the worst. It is wow. You just. But again, what I will say here is another strategy to add to the 2 I said before. When I heard this, I went into complete basically mercenary soldier mode of, okay, I have to take care of this at once, ASAP, immediately. And by that I mean, now I had an advantage in a sense that I took care of my dad and mom. That wasn't an advantage. That was pretty difficult. And again, another video can cover that. But my father had cancer. He first got colon cancer, Matt, 12, 15 years ago, something like that. He survived that. It was a long ordeal. And I brought him to the, I will mention it, Smilo Cancer Center. It's a fantastic, fantastic place. If you are unfortunate enough to have cancer, you should be fortunate enough to go there and get help from the people who they will do anything for you. And anyway, another video, which I think I will film. Um, but I took care of, him through his colon cancer, which he survived many years after that. But then he did end up getting prostate cancer as well. And I went through that with him, and he did pretty well. And then, ended up passing away at 86, which is pretty good. Uh, right prior to him passing away, I found out about my cancer, which was, of course, a shock. And my point here, I guess, was that I had some background and a place to go immediately, and I did, and I didn't hesitate. And that's something you can't do either. You have to go into, survival mode. That's what I was trying to say before. Flat out survival mode. The next day I was at the cancer center. I was talking to an oncologist. I was making sure that I could do everything that I had to do to survive, no matter how unpleasant it is that you have to face that. But you must do that. If you do not, I again, more videos to come, but I've seen family members and friends, but a few family members that were, well, anyway, they were family, not close, but they didn't believe in doctors, and doctors make people sick, and doctors are in it for the money. Well, you know what? I'm sure there are doctors here and there who are in it for the money. Well, you know what? That also doesn't mean that they're not a good doctor. Maybe they wanted to be rich. That has nothing to do with the character of the person. There are great rich people and shitty rich people. So, that's a bad excuse right there. And then the nonsense. Nonsense. We have come, I hear a nonsensical thing always being said by people who don't know. Oh, yeah, they said they were going to have a cure for cancer in 10 years, and this was in the 50s and the 60s. Well, here's the thing. Don't be stupid when you talk. That's stupid. Because if you did the barest minimum of research, you don't even have to open a book if it bothers you. Go to Wikipedia and just start in the basics. And Wikipedia is great, but I'm just saying basic, cancer does not have a cure. It doesn't work that way. It's just a foolish thing to say. Yes, I'm not saying that in the future there may not be some thing we discover that universally destroys cancer cells. I hope there is. But all cancers are different. Now, I am not a medical expert, but just do a little research so you don't appear as stupid as you sound. Uh, Cancer, I would not have survived what I survived had I gotten diagnosed 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And the same goes for my father when he first got colon cancer. Had he gotten that cancer 10 to 20 years before, never would have survived another, whatever he lived, 15 years or so, 12 to 15 years. So, number one, that is not true. You go into survival mode, you do your research, and then you confirm with a professional, with your nurses, with your oncologist, with your general practitioner, with all your urologist, every whatever you need, your gynecologist, any doctor that you need involved in your health, and confirm with them. You can take certain things that are helpful. You can do crystal work. You can do whatever that ever you want. That's fine as well. But I watched people die because it was the doctors that were going to kill them. It was chemotherapy that was going to kill them. Well, here's what happened. My father got chemotherapy, and he had an operation, and he had some radiation, and then he survived 10, 15 years till he got cancer again. I got pancreatic cancer. It was stage 4. Again, I'd like to talk about that in another video, but it was, basically I didn't have a chance. Uh, I was operated, to make this quick for this part, I was operated on unsuccessfully, told that it would take a miracle, found new doctors, went into survival mode. My oncologist suggested somebody. These were treatments that, were untried to a certain degree. I got great doctors, great support group. Uh, I got married, actually, to my wife that I should have done a long time before then, whatever, another story. But you need to go, and I did, and then I went through another year of chemotherapy, a year after I had already gone through 8 months or so, and everything shrunk down. And then I went through a second surgery, which was unbelievably difficult. But I'm here 5, 6 months later, and yes, I'm still fatigued. I'm still trying to gain weight. That's what I meant. I'm self conscious about looking gaunt, and, again, time for another video. But to sum up, uh, survival mode, keep your mind occupied, and do some stuff for some other people. Cancer doesn't excuse you from, being a good person. Take all the help you can get. Don't get me wrong. I had some great people do some great things for me, and I'm lucky that I have the friends that I do, and my wife, who is dear to me, and I wish Basil were here. He's one of my cats, and Leopold, and he's in the house, and just really, really cherish the people and beings, whether they be four-legged or two-legged around you. And I'll leave it at this: you learn, after facing death for so long, don't take all of what your friends are all, and your family are all flawed, as are you and I. Me, not so much, but we're flawed. And that, a true friend, and I could do a video on how to know, and I think I'm going to, because it's something people have a really poor judgment with, and I've had that in the past. But there are ways, intrinsically, I think, but that can be disproven, and it is many times. So what you really need to do is logically, I like logic a lot. uh, you really think back and think who was there when you really needed them most, and that'll give you your first clue. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap that up and try to just get a YouTube channel created, and I wish everyone well out there, and take advantage of today and this moment. And you know I don't pray, and that's a huge topic we can get to. But I do hope that, especially the people in the Ukraine right now, are getting every real assistance that they need. And I just can't believe that this is where our world still is in 2022, but it is, unfortunately. So, but there's a lot of good in it as well. So everyone have a great day, and I will be signing on again soon for a new video. Uh, I hope this will be Rogue Logic, and that's what I'm going to call it, but chances are it's taken, so I'll figure something out. All right, peace.